I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my God, I got the beat right for the first time ever, I think.
You hit it?
I think I hit it.
Okay.
Guys, welcome back. 90-day Fiancé before the 90 days.
Yes.
Listen, this season, off the chain, lit. Fire. Guys, I'm Linda Antony, one of your hosts, and to my immediate left, the beautiful, talented Ashley.
Hey guys, thanks for that intro, Linda.
Listen, we're missing two of our partners in crime, but they will be back next week.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? Overall reactions to
this was
episode?
juicy. This was real juicy. A lot of like plots and twists and turns. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my predictions, but it's just a lot to think about. It's a lot to take in, but I enjoyed every bit of it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I dare to say that this one episode that took 2 hours of my time was better than the whole last season of 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah. I knew this was going to be a good one just from the previews. I was like, oh, this is going to be juicy.
Do you have a favorite character that has popped up yet?
My favorite character, I would say, let me say this. I think Geoffrey's a cutie pie.
Okay, but I have some stories with Geoffrey.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's a cutie pie.
Okay.
And Soldier Boy, a.k.a. Usman, I think he's going to be funny.
Oh.
I think he's going to be
That
a
is not
funny
who I expected
character.
at all. I think that Ed is going to be a standout. He's gonna be just because I came in with a bunch of preconceived notions about Ed, and he's kind of like wearing me down a little bit with his little 4'11" self.
Yeah.
And I also think that Avery is going to stand out. For some reason, Camera loves her, and her story's a little like twisted.
A little weird, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that she's going to...
I say that respectfully.
Yeah, weird in a great way.
In a great way.
Yeah, unique.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the ones that stood out to me, but I like who stood out to you too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump in. Let's talk about Ed.
Okay.
So Ed, 54, San Diego. He self-proclaimed himself Big Ed, which I think is
love
hilarious.
That. Yeah.
He's a photographer. Teddy, his dog, is his best friend. What did you think of his intro and meeting him for the first time?
I think Ed is, like you said, a very interesting character. The mayo in the hair was, a bit much. I could smell it through the screen.
Girl,
like, oh.
Mayo and like his kimono.
But I was like, Ed, let me find out you have a hair hack, a natural hair hack, because his hair is shiny. He's got the glow going. So Ed got it figured out, honey.
He really does.
Yeah, I like Ed a lot. I was a little concerned about the $5,000 that he's already spent. That was his estimation of what he's already spent on gifts so far on Rosemarie. Yep. But I get it too. It's like, you want to spend on the person that you love. You want to show that love.
I know. Okay, so as you guys know, I always have an issue with you're in a relationship with someone that you've never met. Mm-hmm. Is that a relationship? Like, to me, it's not. But I guess, like, quote unquote online, it's an online relationship.
It's a long distance online. It's a virtual relationship.
Virtual, exactly. You've never met the person.
It is $5,000.
2020.
Yeah, 5 racks is a bit much. And I think what was even scarier was that he said that he has spent that. He sometimes spends more on shipping than on the actual item itself, which is not surprising.
But what I thought was funny at the end when he talked about how he sent her, like, pillowcases and sheets.
Yeah.
But then it was really for him because he has that skin condition. So he's that skin condition where he can only do 1,000+ thread count.
Yes.
And like with the detergent, it can't be like too harsh. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, so you were thinking of her, but you're really thinking of your trip there.
Exactly.
And you're not trying to get all these rashes. When you go there.
He's like, let me set up the situation right now.
Right. Exactly.
Let's just hope she doesn't use too harsh of detergent when he comes.
Listen. What did you think about his relationship with Tiffany? So his daughter's 29. Mm-hmm. His online romance, Rosemarie, is 23. Mm-hmm. She finds out about Rosemarie and stops talking to him. What did you think of that whole thing?
I mean, I think that's a little harsh. I'm not saying like support what your dad does, but I think that's a little harsh to just cut your dad off. It is creepy though that the girlfriend is younger than your daughter. Like, but a lot of men do that.
I know, but
what did you think?
I thought it was interesting. Like Tiffany's 29, Rosemarie's 23, and he bought a ring already and is ready to propose this girl. He goes online. They do like the FaceTime thing, and as soon as he asks her any direct questions, all of a sudden like the English is not that great, and then the internet cuts off, and I was like, the shade.
That was interesting. That was very, very interesting. It made me wonder, like, did she cut the connection? As I'm watching it, like, did she cut the connection? But I'm like, it seemed pretty organic.
Did it?
It seemed pretty organic, so I'm torn on that. But he said every time he asked her something about that guy, about the ex, you know, she finds a way to wiggle out of that situation. So we might have a Corey and Evelyn situation going on here.
Absolutely.
It sounds very Corey and Evelyn adjacent.
Absolutely. And then what did you think of her having a 4-year-old son named Prince, and he's already calling Ed daddy?
Well, Ed called it. He said it's too soon, but he likes it.
He really does.
He likes it because it makes him feel more secure in his relationship with Rosemarie.
Yeah, I think it's super creepy. Listen, I don't have children, but all I know is, like, y'all, if I haven't met you in real life and I have a kid and we're dating virtually, my child in real life is not calling my virtual boyfriend daddy. There's no way.
You know what? You know what dawned on me? It makes me wonder and it makes me concerned. Like, how manipulative is Rosemarie?
That part.
Because that's manipulation.
Yep.
It's like, let me get him wrapped around my child, wrapped around my finger, or let me wrap myself around his finger and wrap my child around his finger as well. And,
it's
we're good
messy.
to go.
It's going to be messy.
I think she's doing all of this on purpose. And it's always sad to see the kids
wrapped up
into the situation.
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about was how he gave me Paul vibes when he talked about him being single for 28 years.
Oh, yes.
And if he wants to commit to her completely, she needs to get an STD test. He's a germaphobe. He hasn't had sex in years. So before he can really jump in, he's going to make sure that she's clean.
I didn't think anything was wrong with that. See, I didn't have a problem. I think that's responsible dating.
It is responsible dating, and we'll get to that, especially when we get to, I think her name is Lisa.
Okay,
yes. But I just felt like that's a lot for someone that, again, you have never met. Mm-hmm. And side note, he has been married before, and I was shocked that he was the cheater. I was shocked.
I can't say that I'm shocked.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Really?
I can't say that I'm shocked. He's a man.
Girl, okay.
He's a man.
Okay. I'm just saying.
You guys don't drag me in the comments for that.
I was shocked personally. If you have a good thing, you shouldn't be cheating. That's all I'm saying. But whatever.
He probably didn't feel like it was a good thing.
I mean,
but not that people need reasons to cheat, because people cheat for no reason at all.
True, but 28 years later, he's single for 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost my whole life.
That's a long time to be single.
Moving on to Avery. Avery, 32, Seattle. She's a health and wellness fanatic, dental assistant. She really gets her money through being a dental assistant, but she also does this healthy dish thing online, and she infuses her recipes with cannabis, which I thought was a whole interesting thing. 2 daughters. First marriage, Scarlett, 10 years old. Second from her last relationship, Silver, 2 years old. She moved cross country. Relationship fell apart. Had to start all over again.
Right.
And then she meets Ash, who's 38 from Australia. And I'm going to say this really bad, and it's terrible because I'm African, but Moratos. He's from a small island.
Oh, Moratos. Yeah, I don't know how to say it either, but it's a beautiful
island.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Don't
island.
drag us. I already know that I said it wrong, folks. So they met on Instagram, which I think is interesting because there's a common theme this season on Instagram, sliding in the DM and actually getting your relationship.
It goes down in the DMs. It goes down in the DMs.
So they met 9 months ago. She calls him McSteamy. They started on Instagram, and then they headed on over to video chat, and then all of a sudden they're in a relationship. Ash is the relationship coach.
Right.
He only coaches single women, though. What did you think of that whole thing?
First of all, I meant to say this earlier. Ash is fine. Okay, so let's get that out the way right now. I was like, uh-oh, she got a hot one on her hands. He's fine. Now, the fact that he's a relationship coach is concerning because that means not only is he fine, but he's got the gift of gab and he knows exactly what to say.
He knows exactly what to say.
So I think he willed her in just the right way. Now, I saw a clip or two of her kind of spazzing out about him. I don't want to say spazzing out, but her confronting him about him being on his phone all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that is unreasonable that he's on his phone all the time because that's his main that's his business. He does all of his business on his phone.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't too much sweat that. And bottom line is, if he's cheating, she's not going to know.
Oh, he absolutely
unless
not.
she goes through all of his text messages.
I know, but what was concerning to me, Ashley, was the fact that they're in this quote-unquote relationship, and when she met with her friends Jen and Josh, and talked about how he deleted only the pictures of her and him and their relationship from his social media, and then went and said, well, I was hacked, but the only pictures that were hacked were the pictures of her and him together. That's concerning. That's concerning. Like,
he might be a little sneaky.
A lot sneaky. And as a relationship coach, I'm just thinking, like, you met your girlfriend who you've never met online. Like, what kind of great advice are you actually giving?
I've heard that relationship coaches actually don't make great spouses.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then the fact that she wanted him to come visit. His visa was denied because he's saying that there was a bankruptcy in his past. And guys, I've gone through the immigration process personally. And I can't say that I have a bankruptcy, and I will check into this, but I don't think that that's a reason why he would be denied. Because if he's only coming for a visa and a visit, like a tourist visit, then you're not staying, so the country doesn't think that, hey, I have to pay for you for X amount of years, right? If she was sponsoring him, I think that would be a different thing. But I just think that there's something shady.
What do you think it is?
I think it's another, like, Azan and Nicole situation where he did some crazy messed up stuff in his past, and because of that, he can't come over. He's being denied.
Okay.
That's what I think it is.
Okay.
I don't think it's just like, oh, I had a bankruptcy and now I can't come over.
Well, whatever it is, he's fine enough to talk his way out of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. Moving on to Geoffrey, 41, Knoxville, Tennessee, country guy.
Yes.
Loves outdoors, owns like a bunch of properties out there. He's a landlord. And he grew up a quote-unquote bad boy. He said he was married a few times, and you know, my deep dive, he's been, a few to me means twice, and he's been married more than twice.
So a few to me means 3.
Okay, does it?
Yeah, I always thought a couple was 2,
and
a few is 3.
Okay, so
how
you're
many
right.
times he's been married 3 times?
He's been married 3 times.
He was on par with that.
Yeah. So raising 3 kids on his own. We've got Paxton and Dakota, and then we've got Keven, and then we find out later that he had another Kazem who unfortunately passed away when he was a year old.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Really sad.
Yeah.
And then so he's met Varya, who's 30, from Russia, and he thinks he's in love, and he thinks that after this trip he might even propose to her. What did you think of that whole storyline?
Well, my concern is, my observation was, it was interesting to see the dynamic between him and his female best friend. So I'm thinking, are you passing up your soulmate getting to Varya? You know, because that seems like she's like, what are you doing? I'm right here. I'm in your face. And she's looking at him, but he's looking past her.
Yeah, when she
said... that was really sad.
Yeah, and when she said that, she's like, why are you going so far, like different country or whatever, when, you know, you could meet someone right here who's like 2 feet away from you. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh,
Yes.
What's happening here?
And he's just like, well, it didn't work. We don't work. And
Which is not what she thought. Because
Yeah.
her perspective
Yeah.
wasn't that. Like, she's still in love with him, clearly, and wants to be with him, clearly. And even Mark, who's the other friend, who's married, thought that they would end up together.
Maybe they will.
But you know what?
But I think when Varya comes over, she's going to be very intimidated by the female. By Mary, yes.
I thought it was interesting when Jeff said, we make better friends than lovers. I was like,
painful.
Y'all know what I said. What are the 3 most important things in a relationship? Sex, money, religion.
Religion, yes.
That's it, right? So maybe he's not physically
attracted.
Or they're not, like, compatible
that way. She was real confident. She was just like, I look good. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, but she kind of showed her hand a little bit when he showed the picture, and Mark was like, oh, she's pretty. And she's like, let me see. She's like, oh, she's
attractive.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have just played that off a little bit better.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a messy situation, but we'll see what happens with them. Moving on to Lisa. Lisa, the new Angie.
Yes.
The new Angie.
Yes.
In my book. 52, York, Pennsylvania. She, as Angie is a hospice care worker, which I thought was interesting. And her man is from Nigeria, Usman, who's 30 years old. And they, too, met online. And she's been divorced for 4 years. She has a 15-year-old daughter and thinks that Usman is her soulmate. What do you think of that whole storyline?
Yeah. Well, first of all, they're definitely another Michael and Angela situation.
Hell yeah.
That is Michael and Angela 2.0.
Yes.
I'm concerned about her jealousy and control issues.
Okay.
The fact that she wants to, and I know you're going to touch on this in a second. Can I go there?
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that she wants to have unprotected sex with him is like, wait a minute. She's so drawn to that, and she's so stuck on that in her mind, because to me, I feel like that's another means to control him. Like, he's never had this, unprotected sexual experience. I want to give that to him so that way I can dig my claws into him, into his psyche, and forever be with Usman.
Ew, first of all, ew.
That's what I gathered from that.
Listen, I was like, okay, so first of all, we're 2020. We're in 2020.
Yeah.
Lisa's 52, so girl, you're older. And for the simple fact that she wants to be so careless and reckless,
I know,
for someone that she's never met before, was beyond me. And then when she said, okay, so I want to tell this story, but it's like so personal, but I want to tell it, but I don't want to tell it. So I'll just say this. For her to say that she wanted to make sure that it was like memorable and that it was something that he's never done, and that might be the Nigerian way, but she's going to do it the quote unquote American way. I was like,
I felt like she was a predator taking someone's virginity.
I had so many things that I wanted to say, but I was like, wow, like that's deep. You're basically saying that Americans are reckless?
That is what she was saying. But the fact that she said, okay, so her friend was trying to reason with her.
Her friend was making all the sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Yes, Nikki. So she's basically explaining to her, like, he is a performer. He's an artist.
Yep.
Understand what you're getting yourself into. And the fact that she's like, well, I had him check for STDs. He's clean. He's fine. That doesn't mean that while you're back in America and he's in Nigeria, he's not getting popping with somebody else.
Yeah, and she thought that he's being faithful. You all have been talking for 2 years. You haven't met, and you think that this man who's 30 years old,
right,
has not had sex in 2 years.
Stop
playing.
It. Knock it off.
Stop it.
Knock it off, Lisa.
Stop it. He's been faithful to you. Nikki, really. Online, a lot of people are really kind of trolling him a little bit because his stage name is Soulja Boy.
So it's Soulja.
Soulja.
Not Soulja.
SOJA.
Yeah,
Soja Boy. And, there's
It's
already
a
a
spin.
Soulja Boy.
It's a spin off of Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
That Soulja Boy. Yeah, that one.
If you can't see me because you're listening, I'm doing that whole thing.
Soulja Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I thought was interesting about what he said was he wants to come over to America and basically expand his music career.
Well, he's making in his mind he's playing chess right now.
Yep.
That's all this is. It's not about Lisa, and I'm not sure if she realizes that or not. Like, he's definitely playing chess. He's trying to make sure he's popping. He has his Afrobeats career popping in the U.S. That's not really the way to do it, by the way.
Listen, get a record deal. It must be much easier than doing all this.
Yeah.
Last but definitely not the least, Yolanda.
Oh, Yolanda, she seems like a sweet lady.
She does seem like
just delusional.
Just 1,000% delusional. So we don't know a lot about her. All we know is that she was married for like 30 years to some guy named Dwayne. He got sick through kidney disease, passed away.
He went to jail too.
And that was the other part that they threw in, like it was a footnote that I was like, wait,
we need that.
Wait, what?
We need that info.
So he went to jail. And when he went to jail, he didn't want his family to see him in jail, so she didn't see him after that. So I assumed, and I could be wrong,
that he passed away in jail.
And that she didn't see him.
Yes, that's what I gathered. But
she stayed true to him.
Yeah.
Even though they had no correspondence and no connection, which I thought was like
really weird.
Super weird.
Yeah.
We know that she was over 300 pounds. She lost 150 pounds. Health and wellness is a thing for her now that she's focusing on. As she meets Williams, 40, from Manchester. And he's a restaurant manager. Met on Instagram. Again, this Instagram, you guys, we joke about sliding to the DM. And there are people that slide into the DM. And I'll just say this, like, I can't picture myself saying, hey, let's be in a relationship.
No, me neither.
Some of the stuff that comes in that DM are ridiculous.
But yeah, I don't think I would ever talk to somebody that slides in my DMs like that.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Trust. I don't even respond. You know that how there are like two boxes now, primary
unless
and
you look like Ash.
Or Drake. Yes, Drake, I said it.
Champagne Poppy. You heard her.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a couple of years now, so whenever you're ready, Drake. So what I thought was interesting about this whole thing is that whole situation is a train wreck. So she met him on Instagram. She's never video chatted. She's only seen him, she's only seen pictures of him.
Correct.
And they've only like text messaged back and forth. He's 40. She told him she was 45 instead of 51.
Right.
And is not going to tell him her real age until she sees him in person.
Which is whack.
Which is crazy. She has 6 kids. Told the oldest kid, hey, listen, I'm going to London. I'm going to meet this Williams guy, have my back. Finally tells all the other children, and you could tell they wanted to go off. And then she started crying, and they were like, okay, well, whatever you want to do, Mom.
Right.
And they said she's not in her right mind because she's still grieving.
Yeah.
Which I thought was true.
I agree. I think, like you just said, I think she's been alone for so long. Not even since her husband has passed, but she was alone even when he was alive.
Yeah, because he was in jail.
He was in jail. So she's gone through all of that. And now I think she's gone through this weight loss. She feels confident about herself. Now she's got this striking, hot-looking guy, or who she thinks is strikingly hot, sliding in her DM. So she feels like that chick right now. And she wants everybody to feel that joy with her, and it's just not going to happen. I'm glad her kids, let her know, like, hey, Mom, not only is the story shady, but his name is shady, too.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, because it's like Williams with the S. Come on.
Right. And then, what I thought was interesting, too, was when she finally talked to him, and she was talking about how sexy the British accent was. I'm African. And I was like, does she not realize that that's not a British accent?
No, it's not.
He's straight either Nigerian or he's Guinean. I'm going to guarantee you guys that 100%. Ooh. That fool right there is not living in Britain and he does not have a British accent. And I couldn't understand why she couldn't hear that.
What do you think is going to happen when she shows up to the...
He's not going to be there. He's going to be, somewhere in Africa, and she's going to be a hot mess. And thank God her daughter is coming with her because they can turn it into a girls' trip. That whole thing is a hot friggin' mess. And then when, I just wanted in the side note, when he, 7 months later, asked to help with a ticket and asked her for money for the first time, I was like, if that is not a red flag for you, I don't know what is.
Well, the fact that he hasn't FaceTime with her should be a red flag. And the fact that he is saying that his camera is broken should be a red flag.
Y'all, it's 2020.
You can get another phone.
What phone does not have a camera on it?
Right.
Stop even the flip phones have those little cameras. So
exactly.
What? And I liked what the oldest son said. Well, even when my phone breaks, I just get a new phone.
You just get another phone.
Right. So 7 months, you've had a broken camera.
Knock it off.
Knock it off.
Williams.
Let's move on to some news and gossip.
Yeah. I can't wait for the tea, honey.
Y'all, I don't know if you're ready for all of this, but let's do it.
I'm ready. There we go.
All right, we're going to start with Yolanda. So, Yolanda, we just spoke about her English boyfriend, Williams. He appears to be a catfish. So, the photo that TLC has been using is actually a stock photo of a famous bodybuilder. And the famous bodybuilder is from Italy. And his name is Michele de Lucio. And all the pictures that they've been using on the show are actually photos of this guy, Michele. And it was taken by a photographer named Stefano Cavarto. And online bloggers have reached out to Stefano. And Stefano thinks that Michele doesn't even know that his pictures are being used on an international show.
Oh my gosh.
And that he's being like catfished.
Oh no.
So people are saying that it's 1,000% not quote unquote Williams, the restaurateur from England. It's in fact this guy, Michele. The pictures are like 4 years old, and it's a hot mess. And if you guys are watching us, you'll see on screen that we have photos of this guy, Michele, and it's just not a good look. Like, what do you think of that? Do you think that it's okay for someone to be using...
No, I don't think it's okay at all. And I thought that TLC, I had heard about this, and I thought that TLC got permission to use his photos, which is why they are not using the actual photos of the person that Williams is portraying himself to be.
We'll see. So, Friday by TLC says, "Oh, Yolanda, Williams is catfishing you. The team at the Fraudcast found the stock photos and their owner in like an hour. Do better with the next storyline." And then it goes on to say that he's handsome, muscular, standing in the city center. He is, again, from Italy, and he's a certified personal trainer. And, yeah, it's a hot mess. I can't wait to see what happens. Ooh. Moving on. Darcy and Stacey. Guys, we know that Darcy is going to be on this new season. We met 4 of the 6 couples on this season so far. And we haven't seen Darcy and Tom's storyline play out. But what I will tell you is that Darcy and Stacey are getting their own TLC spinoff.
Whoa.
And we don't know if it's just going to be on the app or if it's actually going to be on the network. But they're building a whole show around them. And I got to say, it's going to be entertaining because those two are really entertaining. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's going to be good.
The Silva twins!
There they go. They look great, too.
They really do.
Yeah.
Really, really, really do. I'm really happy for her. And I think that this season's going to be interesting because, as most of you guys already know, the Tom and Darcy situation didn't work out. Tom's already flaunting a new girl. So it should be interesting how this whole thing plays out. Moving on. Guys, I am about to break some news that I just think is going to break your hearts.
Uh-oh.
And if you do not want to know what happens in this season of Before the 90 Days, then you need to tune out right now. So, Usman and Lisa, okay? They got married.
Aw.
They're no longer together.
Oh.
So leaks have shown that the pair got married in Nigeria.
Yeah.
There's video footage of the happy twosome celebrating at their wedding. But based on updates and spoilers that are all across social media, the marriage didn't last long. It lasted for only a few months. And what they're saying is that they tied a knot in August or September of last year, 2019. But then as of February 11th, which is just a few weeks ago of 2020, she listed herself as single online. So, guys, they did the distance, and it didn't work.
But that hasn't been that long ago. That was just February 11th. Anything can happen.
What do you mean by that?
They could get back together. I feel like that's still a fresh breakup.
I think it's a fresh breakup, but I also think that they're going to be married on paper, and she's not going to be able to let him go easy because he's about to come here and get his green card. The end. Yes. Let's move on to Avery. So Avery is seeming to be a fan favorite.
Okay.
We know that she is health and wellness, all of that.
With a twist.
With a twist. So she has a BS, so a Bachelor of Science. She's also a certified holistic nutritionist. And she has a website called Kalevitate.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty catchy.
Yes.
And she's basically promoting health and wellness, healthy eating, but with the cannabis twist. And she is getting a lot of promotion all over the place because she's bringing like that whole cannabis industry mainstream. And she's already on Cameo, guys. So she's just on episode 1. She jumped on that Cameo thing. So if you go to her face or her Instagram page, you can see that she's already like, hey, listen, I'm about to do this.
Nice.
And she was asked a question about the salad. So she was being trolled online about the salad she created on that first episode, how she just pulled out a marijuana leaf and just spread it on top and was like, ta-da! People were like, did she really just throw a whole cannabis leaf on a salad and call it like a meal?
Yep.
So people were like trolling her. And so she was like basically blank those people. Ooh. There's always going to be people that are quick to judge, which I thought was interesting. And then I wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, Big Ed. Woo woo.
Yes.
I love Big Ed. So he's growing on me. So Big Ed, during the Super Bowl and all of that, he has a little Vespa.
Yes.
And he posted this video for the premiere of what he calls the film. Let's take a look right now.
It's Big Ed here. I'm getting ready for tonight's viewing. I'm going to be making Big Ed's buffalo wings. As you can see, I got my Vespa all loaded up. I'm going to go home. I'm going to clean my space. And I'm going to start making some Big Ed's buffalo wings. So enjoy the movie tonight. Take care.
The movie.
It's Big Ed here.
I'm going to clean my space.
Enjoy the movie. I love it. I love
cute.
it. He's like a whole character. So I can't wait to see what happens with him. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about Geoffrey. Okay.
What's the tea on Geoffrey?
So Geoffrey, and guys, this is serious, and I'm just going to go through my notes a little bit here. So Geoffrey was reported back in January by In Touch that he is in court for alleged domestic assault, kidnapping, and interference with a 911 call. He also has some vandalism charges that he has to appear in court next month for, from an incident in June of 2019 of last year with an ex-girlfriend. When the police showed up, there were bruises on her elbow, her forehead, and her knees, and he says that they were self-inflicted. She said that he did it, and the ex has a restraining order against him. And then separately and different, his third ex-wife is seeking full custody of their young child. So he's got a lot of domestic
skeletons in his closet
issues, and a lot of people were talking about it prior to the show airing, like, why are they still going to have this storyline? And I just want to say that these are all alleged things, but they're also very important. So I want to just make sure that we are paying attention to what is being said, because, violence against women is never right.
That's never okay. And it makes a lot of sense, too, because his friend had asked, does she know about your past?
Yep.
And I was like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Now
Let's move on real quick to some quick predictions. We get one each. Go.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I am going to say that Rosemarie is going to have a major problem when she meets Ed. I think that she may not be in the situation for the right reason. And when she sees him, it's gonna test her willingness to get to the States.
1,000%. I'm going to predict that Yolanda is going to fly to England and she's going to find out that she's been catfished by Williams, but she's going to actually fall in love with the catfish and start a relationship with him.
So you think the catfish is going to be there?
He's not going to, I don't think he's going to be there. I think that she's going to like be all torn up that he's not there, and then like call him, and then he's going to expose himself, and we're going to have another Jenny Sumit situation.
Gotcha.
Where she falls in love with her catfish.
Okay.
Guys, if you want to continue on, we've got all the news and gossip coming up next. 1 hour of all the weekly news and gossip for 90 Day Fiancé.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, because we comment back. And you can find me across social media at Linda So Girly.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Ms. Ashley Marie.
Till next week, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.